And there's something powerful about the journey of leadership, the daily steps, the long-term vision, and everything we learn along the way. Welcome to Leadership Labs, where we explore these journeys with the incredible leaders of Aurora Public Schools. In each episode, we hear from those who are helping guide our district toward Destination APS, sharing their stories, their challenges, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Today, I'm joined by Sara Gips Goodall, our Director of Literacy. She's in her first year with APS, and Sara and I go way back. I first met Sara during her principal residency in Boston when I was visiting to learn about turnaround leadership. She, of course, went on to become a successful school leader in Denver, and then most recently back in New England, where she did some transformative work with the science of reading. And she's now returned to Colorado to lead literacy instruction across our district. So let's explore her journey and the exciting vision she's bringing to the literacy work here in APS. Sara, welcome to Leadership Labs.
Thank you.
And also, welcome to APS.
I am honestly really happy to be here.
You're like 7 or so months in, so sorry for the belated welcome.
I have felt very welcome
Good.
day one.
Good. Well, tell us a little bit about who you are, and then also, what does the role of a director of literacy in the 5th largest district in Colorado look like on a day-to-day?
Oh, well, okay. Well, let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm from Maine, Portland, Maine, South Portland, Maine. And I grew up in a very small town, and I went to this amazing public elementary school. And my principal there was Mr. Bailey. We are still in touch. He actually has written recommendation letters for me. And I was the kid that did want to be a teacher forever. Like, I played teacher with my younger sisters. I think I led summer camps. And also literacy was a huge part of my life. My first job was a bookstore. I love to read. My college did not have a teaching licensure program, but I did student teaching. And so I came out to Colorado after a year abroad where I taught in Spanish, and I taught 4th and 5th grade at Godsman Elementary under Dr. Urieta. I had just these amazing teammates that inspired me. And then, honestly, long story short, I did not mean to become a principal. I tried to follow a guy back to the East Coast, and I got into grad school for school leadership. I left the guy. I did go to grad school.
Stayed for grad school.
Yep. And my whole idea was I was going to come back and be a teacher leader, but I fell in love with turnaround work.
Yes.
And there just weren't people doing turnaround work. So that's where we met, at Orchard Gardens.
That's right.
And then I came back to Montbello, and I fell in love with Montbello. So I was a Learn to Lead resident at McClone, which is like the elementary that feeds right into Montbello High School. It was in its second year of turnaround, and I was in the first cohort of Learn to Lead. Kind of funny story is I was kicked out of Learn to Lead because I said there have been so many leaders at this school, and the kids and families really deserve consistency. I don't need to be a principal next year. I would much rather stay as an assistant principal and just be consistent for this community that I had grown to love. So I got kicked out of my principal prep program for that decision. But then 2 months later, the principal was moved somewhere else, and they moved me into the principalship, and I rejoined Learn to Lead. And my husband would say that leaving Colorado was the only way to get me out of McClone. I still just think that is such a special community and school. And we, with your running metaphors, there were some highs and lows in that marathon of school leadership, but I am forever grateful to the team and the families and the kids there. And to bring this all back together, I think the first week of Aurora, we were all at the
Hinckley.
Yes. And I don't know anyone. Like, I'm just meeting everyone. And you and Jen Sheldon have been like, you need to judge these teachers. And everyone's super competitive. I'm judging these teachers like, hi, I'm Sara.
Judging teachers eating a cookie. Yeah. So not to be confused with an evaluation.
Right.
We were doing some team building.
Exactly. And this wonderful young man is videoing the event, and he comes up to me, he goes, Miss Gips.
This is hilarious.
My former student from my second year teaching, and he's here. And so Eric and I,
that's amazing.
He works in translation. We've had lunch and hung out.
Oh, wow.
And So I was like, oh yeah, I am meant to be here. Like
Wow.
APS is home.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Good. Well, welcome once again. Let's see here. You're in your first year.
I am.
What have been your initial impressions of APS in general, and then also just our literacy work?
There's such a special culture in APS. And that's been really powerful to be a part of. I don't feel like I always felt that in DPS. I felt that in some ways in Maine, where I was back a principal there, but people that have done their whole career here.
Mm-hmm.
That's really incredible. And that's really special and something I do want to be a part of. I don't jump around jobs or places. It's only when I've moved.
Yeah.
So that has been really wonderful. I also think there's so many foundations that are already in place. There's high quality curriculum. There are devoted teachers.
Mhm.
There are great students, collaborative teams.
Yes.
And so for me, it's really fun to dissect the data and say, what are the specific moves to take this from good to great? Because I think the other great thing is that no one doesn't want to do good things for kids.
That's right.
And people are asking questions and want to engage in the work. And that has been really exciting for me.
Yes.
Just to have so many partners in the work and say, I don't know, let's work on this together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about your vision and some of the literacy work. And for our listeners, we are in an exciting time here in the APS. Our Board of Education governs the school district with a student outcomes focused model. And we are in the process of finalizing the goals for the school district for the next 5 years. I think they're expected to take action on those next week at their business meeting. Actually, it'll be the day after this episode comes out. And one of the goals in there is increasing the percentage of kinder, first, and second graders reading on grade level by double the percentage that we currently have. So it's exciting, and it's also, a big ambitious goal. So we'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. But I'd love for you to share with us a little bit more about what drew you to education. You shared that you're one of those kids who always knew that you wanted to be a teacher, and then just would love to learn a little bit more about what about teaching, drew you in from such an early age.
I mean, kids are the best. I always loved teaching literacy too. Like I look back and I don't think my math scores were as good as my literacy scores when I was a teacher. I love elementary. Everyone knows that is my heart. I love that kids have these ideas that they can make a reality. And that if you give them those foundational skills, suddenly they want to change the world.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love their authentic collaboration, their innovation, and just their excitement. It's just infectious. And if you can get kids excited about learning, I don't think there's anything more fun. And I think for me, well, I'm jumping, but particularly literacy in our world right now.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot that I would love to solve that I don't have answers to.
Right.
And it turns out we actually have scientific answers to how to teach literacy and what is best. And I think that's actually really wonderful to say we can follow the research, we can follow the science, and we can give all kids what they need. And for me, that's helpful grounding right now in a world where sometimes I don't know all the answers.
Yeah, and I would say that there's been a lot of new research more recently that has changed, I think, the landscape for how we teach kids to read, in the last 20 years or so, from how we taught kids to read 20 years ago and how we teach kids to read today. How would you share with us how did you develop that expertise, or like what training or what reading or what like on the job learning have you been doing to make that shift?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give a shout out to another APS employee, Amy Lovell Boyles.
Yeah.
who is a pre-K assistant director, was my K2 assistant principal.
Amazing. Oh, that's amazing.
And that woman taught me everything early literacy I knew while I was here. And I was like, okay, Amy, what should we do?
Yeah.
We'll do that. What should we do? We'll do that. And when I moved to Maine with my kids, it was about a month before my child started kindergarten, and they called me. Portland had been recruiting me for a couple years, and they said, we don't have a principal for your kid's school. And I was like, oh man, I guess I'm going back.
Yeah.
So Dave and I started together, and at that point they had no literacy curriculum. They were not using science of reading. And so I had a kindergartner in the building.
Yeah.
And so it took on this sense of urgency, which I would have had anyway. But so we adopted a new curriculum. We actually listened to the Soul to Story podcast.
Yep.
As an entire staff. We had restorative circles. We had a lot of people crying.
Yeah.
Because I think that the thing that's really important to remember is no one is not using research because they don't care about kids.
Right.
People were using Lucy Calkins and
Sure.
Teachers College
Of
because they
course.
thought that was best for kids.
Yeah.
And that they are devoting time and energy to doing that.
Right.
And so when we know better, we do better is
Okay.
one of my favorite quotes. So it's like, now we have this knowledge. What are we going to do about it?
Yeah.
And can we be humble enough to shift and change, and to say there's going to be new research that comes out in 3 years. Can we read it and adopt it and shift our practices? That's really exciting to me, but it takes a learning mindset. And I'm excited because it feels like Aurora has that.
Good. Well, tell me a little bit about some of your key mentors. I don't know if you would include Mr. Bailey in them, but would be interested to learn, who some of them were, and maybe something that you learned from, one or two of them.
Yeah.
About leadership or
I would say Susana Cordova jumps out for me as such a strong female leader. And she just didn't waver in her commitment to kids. And I really deeply respected that about her. I loved being a principal under her. I love that she's back in Colorado. I really look up to her, and I think she is so smart, but she's fierce in a good way for kids. So I would say she's definitely a role model. My first instructional director, Debbie Backus, I think is also a former APS.
That's right.
She pushed me really hard in my first years of being a principal, but I learned a ton from her.
Good.
And so I think that, and another one would be Monica Nurenburn, who's now an instructional director here. And I think a lot of these strong female leaders that both nurtured me as a whole person. Like, they all know my kids, my family. I think Debbie at one point told my husband to propose to me because I was doing such a great job.
That's right.
He did later, not at that moment.
Yeah.
But they also pushed me to be the best I could for kids.
Yeah.
And I really wouldn't be here without any of them.
Good.
And I have a lot of love for all of them.
Yes, me too. Shout out to Susana and Debbie and Monica.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, what brought you back to Colorado, and what helped in your decision to choose to work in APS?
Yeah. Well, we had a second baby in the pandemic, so the world shut down. I delivered my second child a couple months later while I was still running a K-8 school of 900 kids during COVID. So we were really tired.
Yeah.
And we needed to be near family with small kids. So we made the move to Maine to be near my parents and my sisters. And now my niece and nephew are there too. But Maine just wasn't the right fit for us. Particularly, we missed the diversity of Colorado, which still I wish Colorado was more diverse, but it's a lot more diverse than Maine on the adult side.
Mm-hmm.
Maine is really shifting. So the school I taught had 15 languages. But generationally, I think it will be in a different place. One more generation. There's a phenomenal, amazing immigrant population in Portland Public Schools, but it wasn't everywhere in the community. And my husband is not from Maine and really needs sun and warmth. And so The Northeast did not agree with my husband. He is very happy to be back in Colorado.
Yeah, he's got another spring and fall this winter.
Oh my goodness, he's really loving it.
Yeah, good. How did you choose APS? Because I know you're very thoughtful about where you want to invest your talents and your time and your longevity.
Yeah, well, so to be honest, I thought I would continue being a principal,
Mm-hmm.
but my now third grader sat me down and he said, "Mom, you are really good with kids and you're a really good principal, but I would really like you to just be my mom for a little bit and not a principal." And I think that was a timely call out.
Yeah.
I had a lot of trouble separating my boundaries, and I've really enjoyed just being his mom and not his principal, and also not another kid's principal at the same time, so I can be fully present for him and my other little guy. So Dave is a huge reason.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people told me what was happening in Aurora. So everyone I reached out to for guidance on where should I think about going, who has good people that want to do good things. And those were my criteria, is that I want to work with people that I like, that will push me, that I can grow with, and that have similar values. So I can't remember if I asked you or Jen Sheldon, but I asked some like tricky values questions.
Yeah.
Say, if you're not going to be supporting LGBTQ and trans kids, I don't want to work for your district. If we're not going to be outspoken.
You didn't ask me that, but I know what I would have answered you.
I know what you would have answered, but I asked Jen Sheldon that. She's like, you're going to find that this is a place that those values are true. And that for me, I wasn't willing to compromise those values for an academic job.
Good. Well, we're glad you're here. And it's true, all the things that folks are saying about Aurora. It's a great place to be.
It is. I'm so happy I found it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about literacy. I know as you've gotten to know the district over the last several months, what is exciting you the most about where we're going with our literacy work here in APS?
I think it's the momentum.
Yeah.
I'm feeling real momentum. We just had such an amazing learning walk at Harmony Ridge, and their team called us. They said, why haven't you come in to visit us yet? And we said, great, we'll come.
Yeah.
And it was just the most collaborative learning walk. We had, oh my goodness, we had, I think 11 of us there. We visited every kinder classroom.
Good.
I sat next to this great little guy who at one point I was taking notes. He's like, we're going to the rug, like, let's go. So we've renormed that we'll read the lesson plan and be really involved. So we're not in the back taking notes. I was taking one quick note. But we're really on the ground with kids. Good. And we are learning alongside them. And I think that there are some very small shifts that can have phenomenally large effects. And that's really exciting, because if we can get this right in K2, shout out to the new board goals, this vision of literacy as liberation, our kids can move mountains. Our kids can change the world if we give them the tools to do that. Yes. And that's what motivates me.
All right. I don't want you to let the whole cat out of the bag, but what are some of the priorities or initiatives that you're thinking about for literacy instruction across our schools? I know you've got the lit team, you've got the book study going on, you've got a lot of great ideas.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun. I think this idea of deeply internalizing our lessons and the joy of reading the books and annotating them so that when kids are reading them, I mean, I don't know if you can recall this. I am such a literacy dork. But I remember the first time I really underlined a text. I was like, oh my God, there is such meaning in this. This is so cool. And I want that for all our kids. And I want that for our teachers. I want us to enjoy the text that we're reading. So a huge emphasis on really digging into the text, intellectually prepare. A huge emphasis on foundational skills. So K2, my goal is to be in almost every kinder classroom. Not, I guess, every kinder, in every kinder grade, which I've been in, I think, 20 at this point for the elementary school. But really getting in on the ground to say, we have to make sure that every kindergartner makes at least a year's growth. And then in first grade, we're catching up just those kiddos that we need to. And then we can just do amazing things. And that's a huge priority.
Amazing. So curious, how do you think about balancing the science of reading with the art of teaching? honoring both the research and the expertise of our teachers, and even thinking about your addition of love for literacy.
Yeah. So I've been thinking a lot about this because I think it's a really important question, and I think teachers do need to still feel empowered that they're not just following this explicit and systematic curriculum. We've been really talking about the idea that, again, I'll just use the example of 95% and this explicit and systematic, that means that you are following it, but that you are enhancing. What are you bringing in? What are the connections you're building? What are the different vocabulary words that you're defining? I would love to see more flexibility in a read aloud, in more journal writing. I think there's lots of places that we can lean into a love of literacy and to enhance what we're already doing. What I don't want to do is have us think that doesn't exist as a support in the curriculum. And there's a lot in our curriculums that can support us, but if you are only reading your script and facing down, that's never what I would want.
Yeah. And it makes me think of something you said previously today about the intellectual prep, right? Like that's where that comes in, and being really prepared to, what are you adding and what are the students in front of you needing and whatnot.
There's this book study I want to do with teachers, and we're going to try to roll it out, but it's a book called Rock Your Literacy Block, and it's this phenomenal teacher. She goes through her whole block, and what I love about the book, this is a spoiler if you join my book club, but she says that she doesn't plan her read aloud because she doesn't have time, and it's this 10-minute block of time, and then she has lots of books that she uses, but she doesn't have a chance to pre-read it. She says, I just enjoy with the kids, and to me, I think that's great. I am not worried if you are doing everything else. If you have 10 minutes to enjoy a high quality book of interest with your kids, that feels important.
Good. Okay, let's see. As someone who's been both a principal and now a district leader, how do you think about supporting school leaders in literacy work?
I mean, I think I will always be a principal at heart. I want to go back. And I think I know how it feels to be a principal being told something that doesn't feel like people from Central Office are understanding your context. So I used to have a rule when I was a principal that I've held here too. Just every day I have to ask myself at the end of the day, did I make tomorrow better for kids? And for me, that also is like, did I make tomorrow better for teachers? Did I make tomorrow better for principals? So how are we solving a problem, dialing in a focus without just making more unnecessary work? Sometimes it will be more work because that's what it will take, but it shouldn't be compliance. It should be collaborative, and it should be context specific. Different schools are going to need different ways of going about the same thing.
I love that. What books or resources have significantly influenced your thinking about literacy and leadership?
I mean, I think Leveled Reading, Leveled Lives really took off in this district. But I have loved that book. That was really foundational for me. I can picture my other one around comprehension that I just reread that really grounded me in terms of leadership. A lot.
Good.
I don't know. I need to review my bookshelf. I read a lot. It is one of my favorite things to do. And I am not good at remembering book titles. I remember what it looks like. Maybe it's from working in a bookstore. I can tell you where it's shelved and what color it is.
That's good. No worries. If you think of any, let me know. We'll tag it in as people are, I think, are always looking for recommendations.
That will be shared out as our Tier 1 reflection.
Cool. All right. A little bit lighter note. What songs are either on your most played list or your recently played list?
So I'm a huge Brandi Carlile fan.
Oh, cool.
And her new album I love. Church and State is an anthem for the moment right now.
I'll have to check it out.
And I love her slower song Human. It's such a cop out to say I love all music, and my husband really loves music and will make me playlists that I love.
Oh, amazing.
So I love his playlists that he makes for me. And some of the Jamaican artists he's gotten me onto, like Tars Riley, is a huge. I will listen to anything Tars Riley.
Cool. What are your kids into these days?
Reading.
You don't listen to music on me?
Oh, them? Oh, their music? I don't know if
we've got Monster,
like Captain Underpants theme songs. It's terrible.
One of my most played songs is "Monster in the Mirror," which is by Grover from Sesame Street. It's funny, like these songs that literally made it into like my end of year rap list.
Oh my god!
Monster in the Mirror is a big one. We actually toward the backside of 2025, all of the like K-pop Demon Hunter songs were on there. But recently we've discovered, for example, Dorada in Spanish, Golden in Spanish, and like Soda Pop in Spanish. And so
I need to try those.
Yeah.
They need some better ones. I did. Yeah. Their pump up song is Eye of the Tiger, and I am proud of that because I feel like if we could listen to that on the way to school, we're all okay.
We're ready to go.
Yes.
That's funny. Okay. Well, I know you're one of our newest district leaders this year, but what does Destination APS mean to you?
I mean, so I think about it in two ways. I think about it in my role, which, and I know lots of people say this, but our families send the best of themselves to school every day. And there is a trust that we will create readers and writers and mathematicians and scientists. And I take that responsibility really seriously because particularly for our families that maybe are new to our country and our language, like that is so important.
Yeah.
It's important for all of our families, but that is our job and our responsibility. And so Destination APS to me is that every single kid gets what they need to be achieving on grade level and to be very clear about that and for families to understand that.
That's right.
And then I think I was struck, I think it was last leadership quarterly, when Superintendent Mike said, this can be a destination district. You visited McGlone. McGlone got a lot of awards and it was a destination school, and I've never been part of a destination district. And McGlone took some dives, when we left and there was changes. But the idea that a whole district, so it doesn't matter what school you go to, when all kids win, all kids win.
Exactly.
It's not a competition. That excites me.
Good. If you could share one message with every teacher in APS about literacy, what would it be?
I hope you love teaching it because then your kids will love it. And if we have kids that love writing and reading, I honestly think our world would be a better place.
Absolutely. Okay. Final question.
Okay.
Big picture, just it's a quick hit. Don't have to go into all the details. But what is your vision for literacy in APS 5 years from now? So 5 years from now, we'll look back at this classic podcast episode and say, Sara called it. She said in 5 years, APS and literacy in APS would be?
Foundational skills are just a check. Like we know how to do them. It is systematic. We have processes and systems. New teachers are supported in them. And then our kids become these activists, and literacy is used for liberation in the books we read, in the presentations we create, in the writing that we do. Like that is my dream in 5 years. And I think it's possible.
Let's go. Sara, thank you for sharing your journey with us today, for bringing your expertise and passion for literacy to Aurora, from Boston to Denver to New England and back to Colorado. Your commitment to ensuring every student becomes a confident reader has driven your career, and we're really fortunate to have you leading this critical work for us here in APS. For our listeners out there, join us next time as we continue exploring the paths of those who are helping guide us toward Destination APS. Until then, keep running your race with purpose.